Hello and welcome to another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson, the legal and government correspondent. We've been conducting interviews of people running for Hudson Council, and with us today from District 5 is Sarah Atkins. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jamie.
And so, Sarah, unlike my two previous interviews, we have had Joyce Hall and Randy Morset, who have run multiple times for this position. This is your first actual full-blown election.
It is, yes.
You were appointed by election of council members, is that correct?
I was appointed by the other council members.
And that required you getting 4 votes. And let's back up a little bit. First of all, you got into the position how?
They put out a notice for applicants, I think is the right term, people who are interested in serving out the remainder of his term. So I threw my resume and my letter into that hat.
All right, and we should back up even further when you say the resumption or the remainder of the term. John Hoggett was in that position for 7 years, and John met untimely death last year, and so there was a few months where he was not there, and but they were having a little bit of difficulty, but they put it out there, and once you put your hat in, then the dust settled and you were appointed by the board, by the council. Is that right?
I was.
Okay.
Yes.
So District 5, let's just tell the folks a little bit about where that is in Hudson.
So District 5 is downtown, or the old town, old Hudson. So the historic district goes from the river to Lake Malibu on the north. On the south, the downtown area, not in I'm not Cooley Road, but
Okay.
to the south there. The west side of 2nd Street, and then up Laurel Avenue, or up Laurel Street, which is the windy road that goes up past the monastery, and then Prospect Park is in our district, my district, sorry, and then down 7th Street up to 9th, and then down, and then it goes all the way to Boulder Court, and that would be at the north side of.
Just about where County A then leaves town.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. So that's the district.
It's kind of a large district, but and like you said, historic because of it has the downtown and the residential. So John was in his 4th term.
Correct.
When he passed, and so he was on committees that you're now on. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What are those?
Those are Public Works and Hudson Urban Forestry Board.
Okay. Now, so it is kind of a unique dynamic with having a significant other with that was heavily involved in that position, plus even ran for mayor. So you're getting some information firsthand, if you will, but it's not the same as experiencing yourself.
Absolutely
would you agree?
Not. Yeah, absolutely not. I saw the hours he put in and the passion he had for it. He really liked the community service aspect of serving on city council.
And you've been a city resident for how long?
Well, John and I moved here in January of 1995, so we've been Hudson residents for, is that 23 years?
Yeah, 23 plus,
23
24.
plus, 24.
Yeah.
Yep, just
So-
turned 24.
Right. So what do you, tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, professionally, I am a mathematician by degree. I went to UW-Madison, graduated from there in 1989, which seems like yesterday, but it also seems like 100 years ago.
Okay, so we were down there at the same time. I was in law school and you were in undergrad. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So John and I met shortly thereafter, and we got married in 1994, and 2 months later, he got a job in the Twin Cities. And so we stopped at the border, staying in Wisconsin. That was a move that actually brought me home.
Okay.
I was born in Stillwater and raised in Afton.
Okay.
So
So you know the St. Croix Valley very well.
I'm from the Valley, and as someone whose roots are deep in the Valley, I have a passion for our community and our area, and as a business owner here, I have a vested interest in Hudson's
And what
success.
business is that?
So in 1996, which was shortly after we moved here, I started a business named Archivations. It stands for Architectural Innovations, and we sell architecturally specified products for the building envelope. So it's moisture management in the building's exterior walls. So that was 1996, and I still operate that today. Grown it to a nationwide company. We market to architects all throughout the United States.
All right, very good. Well, so you've got a business background, a math background, which comes in handy when you're talking about budgets, right?
Budget and numbers.
Bonding and so forth. So we always ask this of every candidate, why the city council? You've given us a little bit of insight on your roots in the community, but you saw the work it was for John. Why did you want to kind of follow into his position?
Well, and I think I think I mentioned this back when I accepted an award, maybe not an award, but a certificate of appreciation after his death from the mayor. And I mentioned that when I accepted it, he asked if there was anything I wanted to add, and I think I said something to the people in the galley that when John first started on city council, he was encouraged by Dean Hansen, the late Dean Hansen, one of our area's big developers back in the day. He was encouraged by Dean to run for city council, and John really was like, what? You know, kind of, but you know, it was a courage door, and I think I said something like, you know, if you ever think that you don't have anything to contribute, that you're not enough, you don't have enough, you don't know enough, you're not smart enough or pretty enough or handsome enough, if you think you're not enough, step through that door, step through that courage door, and just do it. And it made John a better person. It made him grow as a professional at work. It made him, you know, be a better leader, a better facilitator, a better negotiator. It really helped in those 7 years of watching him grow professionally and personally from the experience that he had on city council. And so at that point in time, even back in May, that was earlier in May, I hadn't really considered putting myself into his chair.
Right.
But then when I realized that the opportunity was there, I thought, oh, there's that courage door I just told everybody else to walk through. I think I have to do that.
Right.
So here I am.
Yeah, and we had mentioned kind of that there was, you know, a little bit of a delay only because in order to get appointed, you need to get 4 votes, and there was some deadlock with the candidates they had, and then you added your application to the mix, and voila, you were appointed, right?
Yes.
So since then, we've had, and even when before John's passing and he ran for mayor, the EMS was an issue then, and it's advanced even more so now. So it's the 500-pound gorilla in the room, right?
It is.
Or elephant in the room, if you will. So first of all, tell us about your thoughts on that, what you've seen in that regard, and maybe the impact of that one issue on how council members do the rest of their job.
Well, so EMS. Since being appointed, we have had nothing but a storm. It's been issue after issue after issue that have made the environment a very reactive environment rather than a proactive environment. I was hoping to step into the city council and be proactive in that coming up with a model, a staffing model and a deployment model that would work well for our community, that would maybe use some different types of, I'm looking for a word, sorry, different types of maybe funding. Maybe there are different communities out there, and look beyond Wisconsin, but look all over and see, you know, other people have had these issues and these problems.
Sure.
Let's figure out a
reinvent the
creative
wheel.
way
Right.
to resolve our issues that works for Hudson. And but creativity doesn't happen in chaos, And we've been in chaos since July. We've had several, like just big topics that come up, and they come up quick. And so I haven't enjoyed that creative climate
Right.
that I had hoped for.
Okay.
That being said, I'm still in favor of a publicly funded EMS department. I have the feelings for that are the amount of money that we currently spend to spread the price tag over all the residents to have the best response times available to our community is, in my opinion, minute. We currently spend $17 per capita per person per year on our EMS department. And what does that buy us? It buys us 100% control. We determine our deployment model, we determine our staffing model, and those two factors are what determine response times. If we don't have that control, we do not have control over response times. And only, and local control is the way that we can get what we want with that.
Sure.
In my mind, minutes matter. The difference between 4 minutes and 20 minutes is life and death, literally. And for $17 a head, I think that it's reasonable for us to say that's not too much, and let's figure out a way that we can fund this department. $17 is not enough, and no one who's for keeping the publicly funded EMS department is not acknowledging that $17 is not going to be enough to fully finance that department.
So it's going to go up.
It will, if we keep it, well, that's not necessarily true either. Because like I said, in a calm climate where you can be creative, perhaps we can look to other solutions, to look to other funding sources, to look to, ways that we can make it stay at that $17. But if we can't, then if it's important to the public to keep that local control, being able to say, this is what we need to have the 4-minute response time that saves lives. This is what we're going to need to do that. We can make those decisions and implement that. Then the public should know what the cost of that is and be able to decide if they're willing to foot the bill to know that we control those response
Obviously,
times.
you're representing District 5, and so what are the District 5 constituents seem to be telling you?
I have not received any. That's not true. I received one email from a constituent wanting us to not have that department public.
Okay.
But all of the rest of the input, and now I had to go around and get 30 signatures.
So just to be clear,
Yes.
you have had lots of input, it's just that only one was
Correct.
against retaining the public aspect to it.
Correct. And that's been what I've heard.
Okay.
I can't speak to what other council members. I do see some council emails that go to everyone. And all of those have been in favor of keeping EMS. But I did want to add that during,
Sure.
In order to get on the ballot, I needed to obtain 30 or so signatures from District 5.
Okay.
And so on one of the coldest days between Christmas and New Year's, I walked around knocking on doors and was able to chat with those 30 people. And of those conversations, one-on-one, there was no one in that group of 30 people that wasn't for publicly funded EMS. So I feel that I'm well representing my constituency when I say that I'm going to continue to support a publicly funded EMS department.
Well, that's one of the things when you're, like on the school board, we're at large, so we, hear from
Sure.
everyone in the district, whereas you're representing a specific district, and there's always that, any type of representation, whether it's city council or state government or federal House of Representatives. Do you go to these meetings with a mandate from your own constituents, or do you put that aside and do what you feel is right. In this case, though, you feel like your own personal feelings are in alignment with your constituents.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Well, so that's that one issue. And so what has that done then to all the other issues that are being faced at the city council level since June?
Well, it's really taken the front and center stage. So because it's taken so much time and energy, and I think I speak for all of us involved, you know, everyone from the ad hoc committee to the EMS commission to the city council, that it's been, you know, a stressful time.
Right.
And so when you have that on one part, you know, I'm not going to say it doesn't spill over to the other areas, because, you know, when you're kind of dreading a conversation about something, or there's just issues hanging out there that are controversial and
Right.
and people banging their heads together and not getting along, it does put a flavor in the rest of the work.
Right.
I won't deny that. But, you know, I really am of the belief that the rest of the work can be really fun. I mean, you know, making decisions about how we're going to design a park or improve a park or build a road better or put in a bicycle ped trail connecting us with other, you know, these things are fun. And those are that's legacy kind of work where you can say, yeah, I was part of that. That was a really cool project. We got, you know, good people around a table. We put our heads together. We did good planning. We brought great ideas, and then we implemented it. And look what we did. How cool is that? So I think there's a lot of fun to be had.
Well, good. And I just want to remind our voters we're talking to Sarah Atkins, who's the council person for District 5 here in the city of Hudson. You are running unopposed, is that correct?
That is correct.
And we talked about this off camera, and I talked to the other two candidates, incumbent council persons, that, you know, for the first time that I can remember, and I'm not a city resident, but follow and interview candidates and so forth. So why do you think that is, that when, you know, half the council's up every year, so this year it's 3 of you, next year the other 3, why do you think it is that all 3 of you are unopposed? It's very rare, but why do you think that's the case?
Well, I think that could be a variety of reasons, and I can maybe share with you just from my perspective why I might think that others might not want to step into city council. I think one perspective might be that, you know, well, those 3 that are on, they're doing a good job. Let's just let them keep on going because they're doing a good job. Another one could be, you know, that some people see this controversy with this one issue, because that's really the biggest area of any controversy. It doesn't feel like other topics are too controversial at the moment anyway. Maybe they see that and be like, ooh, you know, I don't think I want to participate.
Too much aggravation.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't need that headache. So, and I also think too that if, you know, that our lives are really more stressed than ever. At least that's how I feel. 10 years ago, I think our culture has changed and shifted a little bit. Things are more controversial. And there's more presses on our time.
Right.
You know, with social media and internet and so much information coming to us all the time, and the need to make decisions all the time, I think people I think our citizenry is overburdened with decision-making needs. And if I could guess that some of my neighbors, if they're going to serve in a community project, it might be on something that they consider more fun.
Okay.
You know, that
Sure.
would have less impetus to throw their neck on the line.
So there'll be another meeting coming up where EMS issue will be discussed. Do you think it's ever really going to go away, unless we, you know, turned the opposite way and made it not a public issue?
So if we choose to go with a contract with a private company, it's my opinion that we'll never be able to recover that department back. It would be way too expensive to buy the equipment back, way too expensive to even entertain. You know, it just, once it's gone, it's going to be gone. So, I'm sorry, can you repeat the?
Well, I was just wondering, do you think that, like, if it's voted to retain St. Croix EMS for a period of time, that whether it's 1 year,
Well,
2 year?
You know, if we, I've always said, and we fully fund a police department, we fully fund a fire department. Why wouldn't we fully fund our ambulance service?
Okay.
You know, it's 3 branches of public safety, and we have we wouldn't outsource police. We're not going to outsource fire. You know, that is local government. That's us taking care of us.
Okay.
And you know, when you quit us taking care of us, and you have outsiders stepping in to take care of us, that's not how it was supposed to work. I don't think that's how democracy was supposed to turn into, having someone else not take care of us. We take care of us. So.
Okay.
But would it be? Will it have its bumps? And yeah, every department does. Every department's going to have challenges. The fire department had a challenge of a terrible fire department building facility for many years. You know, and we fixed that. And the police needed a new home, and we fixed that. So.
Well, I was just going to say, what has been in the short time, roughly 9 months that you've been on the council, would you say has been one of the more satisfying moments? You've talked about the controversy, but how about on the other side, something that, you know, actually got done? Maybe it wasn't as controversial, but still nonetheless legacy stuff like you were referring to before.
Well, I serve on Public Works and on the Hudson Urban Forestry Board, so I know those projects the most intimately, or a little more intimately. I think the hiring of our current Public Works Director was a fantastic move. I think he's doing a great job.
And his name?
His name, Michael Mrose.
Okay.
And he hasn't been with us long, but I just really like the direction that he's taking us in. We have implemented, and he got approved the purchase of a GIS system, which is mapping software. Geographic Information System. So it's mapping software that we can, we have a base map that was done by an outside consultant years ago. What we're going to do now is get that all updated, and then we will have a foundational map. And on that, it's just really great technology. So any road we click on, or any park we click on, or park bench we click on, we'll know when it was installed or when it was last repaired. Or, and with our roads, we're going to be able to say, you know, what's the rating on this? Is it a 1 or 2 for repair, a 3 or a 4 for repair? And we keep that all up to date, and it's computerized. So there's going to be the ability to plan things out and say, you know, every 7 years we need to repair this many miles of streets, and now it's a computer program. It's not a reactionary. It's responsive. We're going to plan ahead and then work the plan. And I just love that. I'm so excited to see GIS being implemented in-house without having to hire out every single time we want a map updated. It's just going to save money over time, and that is a really exciting purchase that I'm happy to see him be able to utilize. So that's one thing, and there are many others, but yeah.
So what's the other thing that you're looking forward to tackling in the next 2 years, besides, you know, what we've talked about already?
Well, assuming that I'm going to get elected, I would really like to embrace the fact that we're going to be working on our 2020 comprehensive plan. That is a 10-year plan that every municipality puts together every 10 years. So what that is going to do is, I'm excited to be part of it during the planning process. As I understand it, this is an opportunity to really get public input on the direction of our city. So, and I'm a big proponent of that. Let's get the people active and giving, you know, everyone.
Public engagement, right?
Yeah, public engagement. Everyone has great ideas about what goes on their street, or the park that they go to, or the downtown diversity of businesses. Everyone has great ideas. Now is the time to come up and speak those ideas, and let's get it all documented so that we can make the next 10 years how our current citizens want the next 10 years to go. How exciting is that?
Right. It sounds like, going back to what you said before, you prefer to be proactive rather than reactive.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And so having a comprehensive plan that is a little anticipatory of what we might be facing in the next 10 years and flexible enough to meet those challenges then.
What we're facing and what we want, you know, this is where you put your dreams into the plan, and then you do the plan, and then, you know, you got some cool thing built or done, or, yeah.
Okay, Sarah. Well, anything else that you wanted to add that either about the position or what voters would need to know about you?
Well, voters know about me. For what I'd like voters to know about me is that I am passionate about this community, and I do want to serve them. I want to hear more from my constituency.
Okay.
I don't hear much. I do hear a few complaints now and then, and I've done my best to resolve them for those of you out here who know who you are and know what I've done in steps taken to resolve the individual issues.
Right.
So I really want to serve as the person that maybe helps someone navigate the city departments. If they've got an idea they want to implement, helping that idea reach the appropriate department so that it can get considered. Those are things that I'd really like. So I've learned a lot in the last 8 months. I have a lot more to learn. I'm
Sure.
the first to admit it. You don't learn everything in 8 months. But I'd really like to have that opportunity to continue to serve the community in this capacity. And I'd ask for the people in District 5 to show up on April 2nd and cast their votes. Even though I'm running unopposed, there's a very, very important state election. There's a chair open on our Supreme Court. And we all know Supreme Court is very important, so I'm very hopeful that we have a high turnout, even though it's an April election, that other things that are up for election.
Yeah, I know there's other
get out there
people
to
on the
vote.
ballot that are unopposed too, so we need those votes and people to
Yep, even
look throughout the ballot, whether there's a contest or not.
Yes, come to vote whether your seat is your representative is contested or not, right? And I guess finally I'd like to thank you for putting together these interviews, and it's a great public service that you do, making sure that we have everyone has access to information and access to their
Absolutely. Well, it
representatives.
truly is my pleasure to do that. And thanks for coming on the show,
Hey,
Sarah.
thank you very much.
You bet. And thank you for watching another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson, and just ask you to keep watching.